Is success only for those who speak the loudest? Do you need to tell everyone about your big plans to stay motivated? Or is there a secret power in staying quiet that most people never find? Welcome back to English Wisdom Tales. Today, we are going to explore a story about a habit that many of us have. A habit that feels good, but might actually be stopping us from reaching our goals. As we listen to this story, we will also practice common American English words and phrases that you can use every day. So, find a comfortable place, listen closely, and let's begin. In a quiet American suburb, there lived a young man named Mason. Mason was 19 years old, and he was very talented with computers. He lived in a small house with a white fence, and he spent most of his time in his room, dreaming of creating something big. He wanted to build a special mobile app, a digital library that would give free books to children who lived in poor areas. It was a noble dream, and Mason was very excited about it. However, Mason had a habit that was starting to get in his way. Every time he had a new idea for his app, he would pick up his phone and post it on social media. He would write long messages about how his app would change the world. He would tell his friends at the coffee shop, "I am going to finish the first part by next week. It's going to be amazing." When he told people about his plans, they would smile and clap. They would say, "Mason, you are so smart," or "We are so proud of you." Receiving this praise felt wonderful. It felt like he had already succeeded. His brain felt a rush of excitement, like he was already a hero. But a strange thing started to happen. After talking for hours about his plans, Mason would sit down at his computer to actually write the code, and he would feel tired. The excitement was gone. He had already spent all his energy talking about the work, so he didn't have much energy left to do the work. Weeks passed, and the digital library was still not finished. His friends started to ask, "Hey Mason, how is that big app coming along?" Mason would feel a sharp pain of guilt in his chest. He would make excuses, saying he was busy or that the technology was difficult. Soon, some people in town started to whisper that Mason was all talk and no action. They didn't take him seriously anymore. Mason felt low. He felt like a failure, and he didn't know why he couldn't just get the work done. One Saturday morning, feeling sad and stuck, Mason decided to drive out to the countryside to visit his grandfather, Bennett. Grandpa Bennett was a man of few words. He lived on a large piece of land where he spent his days gardening and building things with his hands. When Mason arrived, he found his grandfather in the back garden, digging in the dark, rich soil. The air was cool and smelled like fresh rain. Mason sat on a wooden bench and watched him for a long time. Finally, Grandpa Bennett looked up, wiped the sweat from his forehead with a blue cloth, and said, "You look like you're carrying a heavy stone in your heart, Mason. What's on your mind?" Mason sighed and told him everything. He talked about his app, his big dreams, and how he told everyone about them. He explained that now he felt like he had no motivation left. He felt like a fire that had run out of wood. Grandpa Bennett listened quietly. He didn't interrupt. When Mason finished, the old man sat down next to him. "Mason," he said softly, "your problem is that you're trying to grow a tree by showing everyone the seeds before you even put them in the ground. Let me tell you a story from a long time ago. Many years ago, in a village far away, there were two blacksmiths. One was named Julian, and the other was named Leo. Both men were young and wanted to be the most famous blacksmith in the land. Julian was very loud. Every morning, he would stand in the middle of the village and shout, "Listen to me. I am going to make a sword so sharp and so beautiful that the king himself will buy it. It will be the greatest sword ever made." People would gather around Julian and give him coins and praise. Julian loved the attention. He would spend his afternoons drinking tea with the villagers, describing the gold he would put on the handle and how the blade would shine like the sun. But when he went back to his shop, the fire in his furnace was always low. He was too busy thinking about the praise he had already received. On the other side of the village, Leo worked in total silence. He didn't tell anyone what he was making. The only sound from his shop was the heavy clink, clink, clink of his hammer hitting hot metal. People forgot he was even there. Months went by. One day, the village leaders announced a grand festival. Julian showed up with a sword. It looked beautiful on the outside, with many shiny decorations, but the metal was weak because he hadn't spent enough time heating and hammering it. When he tried its strength, the sword snapped in half. The people laughed and walked away. Then Leo walked out of his shop. He wasn't carrying a sword. He had spent his time making a massive iron bell for the village square. It was simple, heavy, and strong. When he struck the bell, the sound was so loud and so pure that it could be heard in the next town, many miles away. The sound was so beautiful that everyone stopped what they were doing to listen. Leo didn't have to say a single word. The bell spoke for him. Grandpa Bennett looked at Mason and said, "Julian used his energy to talk, and his work was weak. Leo used his silence to build, and his work was powerful. When you talk about your goals, Mason, your brain gets a fake reward. It thinks the job is done because people are already cheering for you. But the real work is hard, quiet, and often lonely. If you want to finish that app, you must stop feeding your ego with words and start feeding your dream with action. Silence is like a wall that protects your ideas while they are still small and weak. Don't let the world see them until they are strong enough to stand on their own." Mason sat there for a long time, thinking about the blacksmiths. He realized that every time he posted a status update or told a friend about his plans, he was letting the steam out of his engine. He was wasting the pressure he needed to move forward. He thanked his grandfather, gave him a hug, and drove back home. That night, Mason did something different. He didn't open social media. He didn't call his friends. He turned off his phone and put it in a drawer. He opened his laptop, sat in the silence of his room, and started to code. For the next few months, Mason became a bit of a mystery in town. People didn't see him at the coffee shop as often. He didn't post anything online. Some people even asked, "Did Mason give up on that library project?" Mason heard these things, but he just smiled and kept working. He felt a new kind of energy, a quiet, steady power that didn't need anyone else's approval. He worked through the cold nights and the early mornings. When he finished a difficult part of the app, he didn't tell anyone. He just felt a deep, private satisfaction. Finally, after a long time of hard work, the app was ready. He didn't make a big announcement. He simply released it and sent it to a few local schools. Within a week, hundreds of children were using the digital library. The news spread like a wildfire. A local news reporter came to his house and asked, "How did you do this all by yourself without anyone knowing?" Mason thought of the iron bell and his grandfather's garden. He smiled and said, "I realized that my work didn't need my voice. It just needed my hands. I let the success make the noise for me." Mason's app became a huge success across the country. He had achieved his dream, not because he talked about it, but because he learned to be quiet. He proved that the strongest person in the room is often the one who says the least, and that our words have power, but our silence has even more. In a world where everyone is trying to be noticed, there is a special strength in working quietly behind the scenes. When we keep our goals to ourselves, we protect our motivation and keep our focus sharp. We must learn to value the process more than the praise. Remember, you don't owe anyone an explanation of your journey. Let your results be your testimony. If you found a lesson in today's story, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a new tale. Your support helps us reach more people who need these reminders. I would love to see a comment from you. Tell me, what is one goal you are going to work on in silence starting today? Thank you for being part of our community. Stay patient, stay grateful, and keep moving forward in life. I will see you in the next story.